You're listening to the Business of Pharmacy podcast with me, your host, Mike Kelzer. Jamie, for those who haven't come across you online, introduce yourself and tell our listeners what we're talking about today.
I'm Dr. Jamie Wilkey. I was a retail pharmacist for 10 plus years, and I felt really frustrated and burned out in my profession and felt like there was nowhere else to go. But over the past year and a half, I left retail, created my own consulting practice, grew that consulting practice, and now I'm helping other pharmacists create consulting practices too.
Could you have said, I'm getting the hell out of pharmacy, I can't stand anything about this, and go off and do whatever? Or did you know that you were going to land in pharmacy somewhere?
No way. I thought that I was going to get out of pharmacy completely because even though I was a pharmacist, I don't like medicine. I don't take medicine. My family doesn't take medicine. I really felt like I was pigeonholed in a career and it didn't actually suit my personalities or my interests because in retail, I felt like I was just medicating my patients, which isn't something that I really loved doing. And so for years, I was looking for a way out of retail in all other sectors because I thought there's nothing in pharmacy I like at all.
So when you got into pharmacy, for a time there, you thought it was the wrong profession because you didn't even like medicine at all?
Yeah, exactly. So when I first started, I thought it was the perfect profession for me because it got a doctorate degree, which was important to me as a female and all about female empowerment and achieving the most. I was able to get a doctorate degree, get a really good job right out of school, and work just part-time as I had my young family. It felt like the perfect career that I could be out of the work picture for years and I still come back and there's no corporate ladder to climb because there's no other position other than pharmacy manager to attain. And so what I loved about my career for the first 5 or 7 years then became the huge drawback and felt like, well, I loved this, but now I'm stuck.
What you thought was the benefit of not having a corporate ladder to go up became the curse of there was nowhere to go.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Because you'll get it.
How long were you in retail then altogether?
10 years. All at Walgreens. I just had one job as a pharmacist all those years.
Did you ever think that maybe just my current job sucks and I should go somewhere else? Or were you like, this whole thing sucks?
Oh, no. I thought it's just Walgreens that's bad. I know everyone's complaining, but if I could get a position at a different pharmacy, then everything would be better. And I know it wouldn't be perfect, but I spent years applying for different jobs here in Utah and never heard back from any of them. All of my free time was devoted applying to other retail positions thinking, well, they have better hours or they might have a better scheduler, but it got me nowhere.
Do you think if you got a different job, you would have been satisfied at all? Or do you think that was just going down the wrong path in retrospect?
Oh yeah, just the wrong path. It's just a different flavor of miserable. And the grass is always greener on the other side until you get there and see that really retail is retail and it's all the same. What's different is the staff you're working with or the system, but really it's all the same job. And so I'm glad that none of that panned out and I never got one interview or callback because it just made me get out of retail completely so much faster instead of prolonging the pain.
Do you think that career is good for anyone, or do you think that in the state that you're in, do you think it's just a terrible choice for everybody?
No, I don't think it's the terrible choice for everybody. For me, it served me really well for all those years when I was looking for a part-time job that let me clock in and out, and then I never had to think of again while I had a young family and really helped set us up well financially. But long-term, I couldn't do it forever. But I know plenty of pharmacists who are happy in that position, and I'm not demonizing it and saying if you're happy, then you shouldn't be. But it's the way it's going and the more stress that's being put on it and the decreased reimbursement, it just feels like a really vulnerable place to be if that's where your whole career is.
You said to yourself, I'm going to get out of this. Did you set yourself a goal or did you just say, I got to start looking? How did you know it was time then to go? And did you have a goal in mind to say it's going to be done by this date?
Oh yeah. So last summer I was working in the COVID testing site for Walgreens. I left working from the retail and was doing all of their COVID tests. And Mike, just working outside, because we were doing it outside in their parking lot, just working outside made me feel so liberated and like, I'm not stuck behind a counter anymore. I'm feeling fresh air. I can kind of move around. I was still locked into the test site, but just feeling freedom from the pharmacy and that like physical space being locked in just set my heart on fire. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get out of here in 6 months or less, because if this is what it feels like to have freedom, and I was still at Walgreens doing a very repetitive job, then I got to jump on that train.
My pharmacy happens to be on a peninsula. And so I've got 3 walls that are part windows, so I don't take that for granted that I can look out and see 3 signs of life, from where I am at all times. And I bet that really makes a difference.
It does, because if you don't know if it's day or night, summer, winter, it feels like you're in another space, another world.
You can't see outside at all.
Not unless you walk over to the drive-through window and crane your head around the brick wall. Yeah.
That's a pretty low bar. I know prisoners that can see outside. Like in the movies, they've got those little windows up top and the birds come and stuff like that. I mean, that's a low bar.
It is a low bar. And you just feel like you're in a goldfish trapped in a fishbowl with all the people looking in at you and staring you. And I couldn't ever leave other than 5 seconds to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, everything grinds to a halt. It just felt so claustrophobic. And once I got the itch to get out and felt like, well, there's really, like, I'm actually going to do this, then I was even more frustrated at work because I knew there was something more out there rather than just being resigned and kind of grumpy about my job. I started getting 100% burned out. And so, like, I couldn't even be there anymore once I knew that there was so much more.
That little taste of, like, freedom made it even worse.
Yes.
So you gave yourself 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to quit completely.
Why 6 months? Was that you just felt you could do it in 6 months?
That was achievable. It gave me enough. It felt like it was enough time and not rushing too much, but also to keep me accountable. Because once you get into the years, then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. 6 months. What was the first physical action you took besides putting that on your calendar? What did you do next?
So I spent every second of my free time and not free time absorbing information to decide what it was that I was going to do, what it was that was going to get me out. Because living in 2021, there's so many resources. There's podcasts and audiobooks and articles. And so I just consumed everything to say, what am I doing? And is there anything interesting in the field of pharmacy that I'm interested in? Because during that time, I got on LinkedIn and created a LinkedIn account. And that to me felt like walking out of a dark cave, kind of like working outside for the first time to say, wow, there's pharmacists doing so many things. I had no idea that was an option. Oh, get me out of here. If they can do it, I can do it. I'm making this happen.
Do you think that's kind of rare for like a chained pharmacist to have a LinkedIn account, almost like they don't want that input from the outside world? Is it almost subconscious, or do you think that, I mean, if you haven't done it, you are probably a good example of a chained pharmacist. It seems if you haven't done it, a lot maybe haven't. Is that the case?
Oh, that's totally the case. And I know because once I created that account, I wanted, to be connected to people, to have a network. So I looked up everyone that I knew in Utah who were retail pharmacists. No one was on there.
And you couldn't find them?
I couldn't find them. They didn't even have an account, let alone were active. So I was complaining to my husband, like, I'm never going to get any connections because all the people I know aren't on here. Like, I don't know anyone.
Here's what I think they did. I think all the pharmacists have this very active group in Utah, and they got together and they all blocked you and they said, don't let grumpy Jamie in. I think that way sometimes. That wasn't the case though. They just didn't have one.
They just don't even have one. Like which is interesting because everyone's part-time job is like looking on Indeed.com for other jobs and like just scanning for any other job that you could have in Utah specifically because everyone's complaining about their job. So everyone's like looking like it's their job for another job, but then no one's on LinkedIn, which is where it's all happening.
Everybody's looking, but they didn't make the connection to go on LinkedIn, to rub some elbows with people, to try to find a job.
Well, that's what I did for years. I just scrolled Indeed.com and complained about the horrible position I was in, and I didn't do it for years, so I get it. It just didn't even occur to me.
I'm going to say it's like a psychological thing, like Patty Hearst. I know I'm dating myself, but I don't know. You don't know Patty Hearst, do you?
The name's familiar, but I don't.
She was like the daughter of a wealthy publisher, and she got kidnapped by this group. And then they finally found her. They showed her like using a gun for this group to rob a bank or something like that. But it was like they're so caught up in that life that they don't think there's a way out. And even though there's signs that, well, in this case, there's signs that they should be on LinkedIn doing it, they haven't done that. I'm really surprised someone like you had not been on LinkedIn until a year ago.
A year ago.
That's fascinating to me.
I know. It's amazing.
It almost sounds like a psychological thing.
I think there's something to that. I really do.
Like you didn't want to see what was out there. You didn't want to see that window, you know, because it kind of sucked for you to see the window when you were working that way. And LinkedIn is kind of another window. Maybe you didn't even want to see it.
Yeah, because then I would realize that I could do so much more and it would be frustrating, which is exactly what happened. And then I had to act on it. But it just goes to show what can happen in a really incredible year. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. And if who you are is not who you can be. And so it is just a testament to the power of social networking and being able to find the people who are looking for you and who you can learn from all across the world. They're just there at the touch of a button. Is pretty incredible.
Jamie, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Okay. I'm going to say that you're doing it better because of your bubbly personality.
Okay, that's probably true. I do have the personality for it.
You have the personality. You're a magnet on there to attract people to what you're doing. Not to take anything away from what you're doing. It's a nice combination you have, though.
Yeah, and it's where I feel like I'm finally meant to be. I was completely unrecognized at Walgreens. My district manager said, like, you're the happiest pharmacist I've ever met. We love working with you. But did I get a raise for the past 6 years? No. Did I get PTO? No. Did I get any sort of reward for that? No. And so for so many years, I was just living under my potential because I didn't do anything about it. So now it's such a fun place to be able to connect with so many people in the world using those skills I have. And even if you're not like me and all bubbly and exciting, to be able to network and connect is such a valuable, valuable thing. And that's where there's so much promise for pharmacy.
And there's promise for others that you can help them see the light, and there's still promise for pharmacy in the profession. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
All right. So a year ago, you gave yourself 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. You started looking all over, making connections and so on. Mm-hmm. Kind of the chicken and the egg. Was it what you were going to do along with social media? I take social media as a huge part of this for you, right? Mm-hmm. More so than billboards or TV or things like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Social media is dramatically underpriced, to get people's attention. It's not that you couldn't have a Super Bowl ad for your stuff, but you'd be wasting money on that. It's too overpriced for what you're going to get from it. Mm-hmm. So the chicken and the egg, was it saying, I want to do something and social media is going to help it grow? Or was it like, I'm going to do this in particular and, I think I'll get it going on social media? It
was definitely the latter. So I got my PGX consulting practice up and running.
What is that for our listeners?
Oh, okay. So PGX is pharmacogenomics, which is looking at your DNA. It's just a cheek swab. And so then with that cheek swab, for the rest of your life how your DNA responds to medication. So it's like a map for how medication works for you. So doctors aren't just guessing with medicine anymore, that you can see what's likely to work. And so I became a consultant pharmacist and got into practice, started seeing patients at a clinic here in Utah, got that up and running. And then on my 5-year plan, in the 5th year, I wrote down, I'll create a course or help pharmacists in some way do what I'm doing as well. And that's supposed to be 5 years away. But after I created the practice and started kind of sharing about it on social media, so many pharmacists flooded me with requests saying, oh, will you coach me? Oh, will you help me? That's exactly what I want to do. Help, 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 help. And so very quickly that escalated to say, well, 1, to save myself valuable time, and 2, to use the power of social media. I'm just going to create a solution for an army of pharmacists and help them get into practice through this academy I created that will help them move them forward using the power of social media. And it just happened so much sooner than I expected.
You thought you were going to make some business up and then build that business for 5 years and then reach out and teach others to do it?
Yeah, that was on my vision board. In 5 years, I would help other pharmacists.
Pharmacists, I'm just guessing, they were probably interested in what you were doing, but probably more interested that you made the leap out of retail pharmacy for others that this might not be their bag.
Exactly. Because so many pharmacists are looking to get out of retail and are interested in using their knowledge and not completely leaving pharmacy. And so they reached out to me, and in a way to conserve my time and rather coaching all these individual people one by one by one, I dumped my whole brain into the PGX Consulting Confidence Academy, where now I can teach and empower an army of pharmacists to move this forward.
What you thought would then be 100% of your income every year for 5 years, now all of a sudden that's going to become a less percent of your income because your consulting of other pharmacists is becoming a bigger part of your income.
Which is kind of a fun, exciting place to be.
That's really cool. In the name, PGX Consulting Confidence Academy. What's that word confidence there? I saw it. I said, that's a cool word in there. Is it because pharmacists don't have any confidence going out to do something like this?
Absolutely. Pharmacists are so good at learning knowledge, and they know so much. And where I see them struggle is they're not confident enough to put it into practice and to go into business for themselves. They're just stuck with the knowledge and gaining more and more knowledge, getting more and more certifications and more letters behind their name. But unless that's actually helping them grow their career and earn more money, then it's just a form of procrastination.
How did you decide to actually add that word to the name of your consulting business? It's a great thing. I mean, it's cool. It really jumped out at me to see that, the confidence, because I would just have put PGX Consulting Academy and I'd say, well, we build confidence in my mission statement. I would say that kind of stuff. But how did you decide though, Jamie, to put confidence right in the title? Because
that's what and my aim is to do, is to get pharmacists confident and taking action. This isn't just another thing that you learn and learn and learn and then do nothing with. This is taking action and changing your future. And so I probably haven't thought about it as much as you have just now. It just came naturally to me that I want pharmacists confident by the time we're done, and to show that what we're doing is actually doing something instead of just learning more didactic information.
Would it be true that it's almost to the point where you say, I don't care what I'm teaching pharmacists to do. I'm giving them hope. I'm giving them joy. I'm giving them money. Does it matter what you did? Does it matter what you're teaching them?
That's a good question. And it started off mattering very much because pharmacogenomics was important to me in that it's completely underutilized and I see so much potential. And there's no competition in this space. No pharmacists are out doing this. And so it started with pharmacogenomics as the heart, because everyone's interested in it. No one's doing it. But now it's fun because I get to pull in all other areas of pharmacy to complement that practice and to help pharmacists make the practice of their dreams. So PGX for me is the core of it and the heart, and what I think all pharmacists should master. And then I get to provide a buffet of options and say, look at all these other ways that can complement your practice as a pharmacist and bring it all together. So yes to both. It started out strong in PGX because I was frustrated that this amazing part of precision medicine was not championed by pharmacists, but then it's growing into empowering pharmacists into so many other places to grow it as a complement to the core.
How did you learn your PGX stuff? I mean, now people have you to go to, but how did you learn this new skill?
Trial and error, and a lot of failing forward, because there's just not that much information out there for pharmacists, especially to build this unique kind of practice. So I just got on the phone with anyone who would talk with me in this space and did a crazy amount of research and just took steps into the dark and figured it out.
All right. So when you get other pharmacists on board, are they buying anything from you besides knowledge? Are they buying like kits from you?
No.
So this isn't like Amway. Right?
No, this is just me telling everything I know about this and providing all the opportunities out there, but is not saying like, oh, now you're locked in that way. It's just showing how to do it and who I think are great people to work with, but no pressure to work with any of them.
Okay, because I didn't know a damn thing about it, Jamie. When you started talking about like testing and cheek swabs and stuff, I thought, oh, Jamie joined Amway. Because I thought that there was all kinds of stuff that you were selling. Well, I didn't think that. I was wondering when I saw your stuff, I'm like, is there something to buy with this? And then I read more and I realized that no, it's not a purchase thing. It's a consulting thing. Mm-hmm. So all these people are paying you money just because you're smart and you give them information.
And a network of support.
That's got to be cool too, to have people pay you for what's upstairs.
That's amazing. As pharmacists, we give all of our what's upstairs away for free, and we've got to change that.
That must have been really cool to get your first dollar. I'm sure it's posted on your wall somewhere.
It's so rewarding, yes.
I see LinkedIn long form. I know that probably works pretty well for you. Has that been your best method of sharing your news / building your business right now, your consulting business?
Yeah, that's really the only advertising I've done is just LinkedIn posts, because as a pharmacist, I'm still mastering the whole marketing world. And so all of this has come from LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn account is free. It's the greatest resource out there, and it's free.
Now you got to find a way to get all those people in the dungeons without LinkedIn to come across it. But I'm sure you're as busy as you need to be right now, but that seems like that would be another hurdle, is to get the people on there.
Yeah. And that's what I'm assembling a team for, is to get that search engine optimization and to get all the other people who are not active on LinkedIn, which is very few pharmacists, truly, which is exciting.
About 12 years ago now, I started an independent pharmacy group on LinkedIn, and that was over a decade ago. And just like in the last year, it starts flying. I mean, people start joining, so it's amazing how many people aren't there yet.
Yeah, but it's with technology, you can reach anyone in the world who's looking for you. So it's a good place to be. And then more skills I get to learn to grow this out to help as many pharmacists as possible.
I'm taking it you don't have any employees yet, or do you have employees?
No, but I work with a fair amount of contracted
Contractors, right?
Yeah, contractors are amazing. I love it.
So what contractors do you have?
So I have a marketing team that's helping me to grow out of the whole LinkedIn space. And I have a VA who helps so much. And I'm going to hire another contracted administrative assistant.
VA, virtual assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to have been like a boss like back in the 1950s and have my secretary come in and I'd say, take this down. And they would do it with, shorthand and stuff like that. But it seems like nowadays, what do you need a virtual assistant for that's not going to take longer to explain to him or her what to do than you would just do yourself?
Oh man, so many of the little tasks of the days, because time is so precious and it's so easy to give away. And so just all of the monotonous tasks like email, so many email responses are the same. So they can take care of the emailing as well as a lot of the back end of creating webinars and like getting the email campaigns up and going, all these things that can do, but it just takes so much time outside of my time with patients and my family that I would much rather give it to someone else, because truly time wealth is the greatest wealth for me, to have time. I did not create my own business just to be insanely busy, and it's smart to offload tasks. Even though it's really a pain to teach someone when it's faster to do it yourself, it's worth it.
Your email, does your assistant go right into your box and pull emails out, or are you forwarding things to them and saying, do this or that? How is that structured?
It's all forwarding right now. Do all this.
You're picking emails out and saying, handle these, and then they clear from your box.
Mm-hmm. And clear from my mind.
When you mention webinars, you're putting your own on.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not charging for those, I take it, but that's your funnel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where I can talk with all the pharmacists who are interested in what I do at once.
And then you're following up with them?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had to give you their email and stuff to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you follow up with them then?
With email and with sometimes LinkedIn messages, if that's where we connect on there.
Are you doing any personal things with them, or is it all part of your database you're building?
Well, that's the fun part. They get to do my assistant gets to do all the group emails, and I get to reach out to all the individual people that I'm recognizing on there. And then that's the fun part. Then I get to be me and interact with people in the way I want to, and they can take care of the big, boring stuff.
Where's your assistant live?
In the Philippines.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm a smart business owner.
How'd you get your assistant?
Oh, another friend of mine who's a CEO was hiring another VA, and he's like, I have a runner-up. Do you want them? And I was like, heck yeah. So I didn't even have to do any of the work. He just got handed to me on a silver platter.
Bring me through a typical day now, the goods and the bads.
So I see my patients several days a week in the clinic here in Utah. And what is involved in that is the front desk sees patients who are polypharmacy patients who are on multiple medications.
Wait, when you say clinic, what do you mean? Your rented space?
Mm-hmm. In an existing clinic. So they let me come.
Like a healthcare clinic, or?
Yeah, it's actually a tribal medicine clinic. So it's like a integrative functional wellness practice. It's so cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they have patients come in for a variety of reasons. And when they see that they're on multiple medications, they say, oh, you need to see Dr. Wilkey. Let's set up an appointment with her. And so they book out my schedule. I meet with the patients, and it's a 2-appointment structure where the first appointment, we're just getting their history and understanding where they're coming from, what medicines they're on, what their health conditions are, how they're being managed, if they feel like they have robust health, and if not, what true health looks like for them, and kind of understand how well they understand their medications and where they're coming from. And during that test, we do the DNA swab. And then 3 weeks later, the swab results are back. My conclusions are back. So then I meet with the patient a second time for usually 45 minutes to an hour. And we sit down and review not only the DNA results, but the drug-drug interactions, drug-food interactions, drug-drug gene interactions, and kind of the polypharmacy, the duplicate therapy, kind of go through everything in the file, not just the PGX drug gene interactions. And it's such a rewarding conversation. This is why I went to pharmacy school, was to have those encounters.
Really cool.
I'll do that a couple days a week. And then the other days I work on building the information for my PGX Consulting Confidence Academy. So I'm always adding new information, new updates, new interviews. And so the days that I'm not at the clinic, then I'm filling up the academy and helping move those pharmacists even more forward.
You're at your desk at home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that better than going out to the building?
Yeah.
Going out to the clinics?
Yeah. I love being home. I never thought as a pharmacist I'd be able to work from home unless I was like an IT pharmacist. So this is a dream come true.
If you could, tomorrow, would you say I'm not going back to the clinic at all because my consulting to pharmacist business is enough? Or do you feel like you owe something to going there still so you can tell the pharmacist that you're consulting, it's like, well, yeah, I still do this?
I feel both, but time is precious. And so I know in time I'm going to have to replace myself and hire another pharmacist to do that, to really scale this where I see my academy going to have the full impact I see. And so my hope is to still be in it and see how it's working, but not necessarily lock my time in as much as I am right now.
When you grow your business, what are you growing actually? Are you growing the sale of your program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the academy is the program. So I see that as one angle to it, to grow that so that it's even easier to access and use and to have more of the bells and whistles, because right now it's just me and I'm the bottleneck. And so to add the finishing polishes that make it really nice, but also I have bigger views of taking this internationally and helping other pharmacists around the world, because if we think we're behind in the United States, every other country is behind us. And I've had a lot of interesting conversations that are paving the way for that to happen too. So it's a fun place to be.
What is your deliverable? It's not a CD. That's old-fashioned. It must be some kind of a web-based thing that they're putting in a password and then getting videos of you and some computerized PDF or something. Is that right?
Yeah, it's an online course.
Oh, that's an easier way to say it. You can tell I'm old-fashioned. So this is an online course and all the current bells and whistles of an online course. What does that mean these days?
So it means pharmacists who are looking to get out of retail but have no clue where to start. I start at square one and teach them the basics of pharmacogenomics, how to get certified if they want to get certified, lay out all the programs for them. And then we go into how to work with labs and all the details on labs and how to work with providers.
These are videos?
Yeah, they're all videos. They're all pre-recorded videos where I talk about each of the subjects and then provide downloads for more information. And so they are totally on your own time. You can go as fast or as slow through all my different modules as you want.
So they get online, they get on your site. They have, how many videos do you have?
Oh man, I think there's 120 now and growing.
120 videos?
Yeah.
How long are they?
Between 10 and 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
They're 10 to 30 minutes and you have like 120 of them?
Yeah, and growing.
What the hell do you have to talk about for that much time?
There's so much to talk about between working with labs, how to work with labs, how to pick which one you're using, red flags to watch out for, how to talk with prescribers if you're interested in doing what I did, where you're working in a clinic, or if you're interested in creating a different business model. I just show you everything out there. And include it's like a baby MBA where we talk about how to structure a business, how to do accounting and legal and insurance and just the business basics that pharmacists don't know because we've never done anything like this before.
And then you said every video, then they can go out and click on something that'll take them to a form or a database or whatever, right?
Yeah, or more reading into the topic. Because I don't want to record an 1.5-hour video where I'm just droning on and on. I want to keep it short and sweet and leave all the important information. And then if people want to know more, then I give them all the resources.
What are they reading then? Stuff that you put together?
No, mostly like journal articles and scholarly work so that they can get a deep dive into it. But I put some things together and more are growing, and it's pretty fun.
So you mean something like an article maybe on PGX, something that you didn't write, but you can link to it and say, this is a pretty good article about this. Stuff that you had to do to put all this together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is where I got this. And then you can read it if you want, or I'll just give you the short and sweet summary. Exactly.
Devil's advocate. Well, it works for you, Jamie, because you're in Utah by a reservation. Is this going to work for everybody?
Oh, yeah, it definitely works. You just have to think outside of the box and outside of traditional pharmacy. And where I see a lot of pharmacists in my academy having success is working with like clinics that might not have a prescriber on staff, like a behavioral health clinic or an addiction clinic, or even like a wellness clinic at a chiropractor's office.
You're thinking through this and you say, all right, my 5-year goal happened in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a 10-year goal that's going to happen this year?
Whoa. I don't think I'm going to keep going at that speed, but I'm definitely escalating the timeline on a lot of other goals and seeing how fast you can actually make them happen and how to up what you're expecting from life. It's fun.
What are your next goals?
Oh, then I have to like stick to them.
No, no one's listening to this. It's just you and I talking. Come on. Spill it out.
So my next goals are to create like a co-op and a nationwide program for pharmacists to stay with me and to help as a group into the future, so that we can like provide the insurance solution and provide the support into pharmacists who are doing this into the future, and to have like a group-wide bargaining power and use that to our advantage, instead of having everyone scattered around the country doing their own thing, trying to figure out these resources themselves, to create a group where we're all in this together and can use these resources and help each other out.
Nationwide or worldwide?
We'll start with nation and then we'll move to world. I want to make it like a co-op where we're like all in it together, but not necessarily like this stuffy institution.
You want this to be more groupy.
More groupy, more real life, boots on the ground, like actually doing it, than a stuffy institution whose hands are tied with what they can and can't say and can't do.
It's an unfortunate reality that when the associations are moving, and there's some national associations really moving now, it's really cool to see, but when they're not moving, they can fall into that people's picture of them as like they're a stuffy organization.
Yeah. So I'm building something big, and the form is coming together, but the ultimate goal is to unite people across the country and to give bargaining power and to give resources as a collective benefit for this interesting group of pharmacists who are doing something pretty novel and new, and that there aren't those collective group benefits and resources for.
Yeah, because the groups right now aren't specialized enough to point down to this.
Mm-hmm. Especially for pharmacists. There's good PGX, kind of, but pharmacists, I think, should be the ones that champion it. And we're kind of a unique profession, so that's my next big goal.
So that'll happen in a year. It's a 10-year goal that'll happen in a year. What's your next goal?
Oh, man. My goal is just to get as many pharmacists out of miserable jobs as they can and show them everything that's available to them in pharmacy. So I don't even know farther than that.
That's what I was getting at, because everything I'm hearing from you so far is focused with the PGX, but I'm hearing in your voice, it's like, yeah, that's part of it. And this has been good for me and we can go down this road. But a main goal is like getting the word out that there's hope out there.
Yes, there's so much hope out there. And to provide solutions that pharmacists can pick that work for them and their interest and their situation.
What is that though? Because so far we talked about going down the road of the PGX and the consulting and that, and getting into the group benefits and so on. But how would you go down the road of someone saying, I want the freedom and the hope that Jamie is giving. I don't think it's PGX for me. Do you have any thoughts of saying, I want to paint a picture of hope, and business-wise, I want to sell hope on a bigger or wider level than only through the PGX? What would that be?
Yeah, that would be expanding the support for pharmacists getting into other avenues, whether it's functional wellness or point of care testing or chronic care management, to provide step-by-step hand-holding help to confidently get them there.
If you had to put a nail into that one, that would be a online program similar to what you're doing, but more general. Would you take it down that road, or do you have ideas of a different road?
No, I have ideas of zooming out and taking it down that road and just providing even more opportunities for pharmacists.
Through an online program.
Yeah.
That's worked well for you.
It's worked well. And then we'll start doing like live conferences and awesome things. But living in 2021, the value of online programs when people can access it on their own time and speed and space is so valuable.
With your personality, do you ever think you would do just something broader than just an online course with specifics of certain areas they can go? Do you ever see yourself being more of a motivational speaker in pharmacy? Do you think there's a hole for that? Do you think the pharmacy profession has room for that? Maybe there's not enough room for it.
There's got to be room for it, because I feel like there's so much gloom and despair in our profession.
Yeah, there's got to be room
to counter that and to provide optimism, because with 300,000 pharmacists in the United States, many of which are miserable, there's got to be another option. And so, yeah, I'll be pharmacy's motivational speaker. Sign me up. That would make me so happy.
I think that a lot of people maybe who have been beaten down so hard by the system don't escape from it with as much happiness and personality that you bring out of it.
Yeah, that's probably true. And I'm not the typical pharmacist. I think pharmacists stereotypically are not social people and get nervous in presenting themselves and what they're doing. And so that as a group, it's hard to share and broadcast and to like promote what you're doing, because we just feel so insecure and about that just as a group.
I don't disagree. And I look at my podcasting. I'm the only podcast that is focused on the business of pharmacy. That really should not be the case in 2020. I mean, that should have happened like 10 years ago. I think of other professions. I think of real estate and attorneys and all different kinds of professions. And it was kind of late in the game to have that opening still in pharmacy.
Yeah, that's, I think, just a nature of our profession. We aren't putting ourselves out there and really are sticking with such traditional roles, even though time is changing quickly. So to even think about a podcast, because that's not a typical pharmacist role, like it hasn't even crossed so many minds, let alone to actually do it.
Is it worse just for pharmacy though? I mean, do you think you can line up a bunch of professions like dentists and doctors and technicians of this and that. Do you think that's across the board, or you think there's something special about pharmacists that they don't want to move in that direction?
I think it's fairly typical for healthcare, but pharmacy in itself is so unique because we're just so used to people coming to us and then we give what we know for free and then they leave. So we never ever monetize our knowledge and like push that forward. It's always been stuck with the physical product of the prescription. And so that's really held us back and from having a voice and from moving forward to get away from that traditional role of, oh, people ask us questions for advice, we give it away. But unless we're giving them a prescription, we can't, our knowledge isn't chargeable.
As pharmacists, in our traditional roles, we still check off or we get approval. In most cases, it's the doctor's approval for what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're doing it, but we're getting the doctor saying to do it, and then we're doing it, and we're kind of comparing that against what the insurance is going to audit and all that kind of stuff. It can be rewarding because you have your marching orders at all times.
Yes.
And you really can't go off. Traditionally, you don't go off that beaten path too much.
Yeah, exactly. We just stay within our bubble and do what people tell us to do. Do it really well, but don't go outside of that.
I ain't complaining, though, because it leaves openings for someone like me to do this. It truly is an opening in 2020 not to have a podcast on this yet, I think. And it's an opening for personalities like yours to shine. Not that you wouldn't shine in any industry, but I'm saying in pharmacy, it rises up more quickly even.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. That there's nothing but room at the top because few people are doing this.
So, Jamie, pull away everything. Pull away all the pharmacy stuff and all that. What would you really like to be doing in 5 years?
In 5 years? Working 2 hours a day, traveling the world with my family, and still helping pharmacists move forward without locking my time into that endeavor.
And how important are those 2 hours a day? If I said we're going to do 2 hours a week, would you fight that and say, Mike, I think I need my 2 hours a day of doing stuff. I think I need that because I would be about where you are. Would you go less? Would you go 2 hours a week? One time my daughter said, Dad, you should read The 4-Hour Work Week, by Tim Ferriss. I'm like, A, I already read it. And 2, why would I want to double my work week? Well, that was when I wasn't. That's when I wasn't working so damn hard like I am now because of some business changes. But would you take your 10 hours a week or would you say, I'll cut it down to 5?
That's a good question. I could very easily fill my time with the things I love doing, where work right now is my own space from my family because I have 4 little boys. So right now it's not only something I feel like I need to do, but is fun and engaging for me to do. So I could, if I took that away from work, I would still choose to fill that with something that's just for me that would be so fun. So if I could do less, I would, and I would fill it with something that is still pushing and having me grow, but not quote unquote work.
What would that be?
Oh, just learning so many new skills, like adult gymnastics and learning how to do like flips and twirls, or to learn a new language, or to learn new skills and just do things I felt like I never had time to do and don't want to wait until I quote unquote retire to do.
I've been building hobbies because I won't have the pharmacy forever, and 4 to 8 years I probably will be around still. I've been building things to do. The one thing about business, though, that's a pretty cool competition if you're, well, you didn't even mention competition. You were just saying learning. But if you like competition, it's a pretty cool competition because, everybody's fighting for the maybe limited amount of prizes. And maybe it's not limited. Maybe that's old thinking. But you would find enough that you wouldn't need the business as stimulation.
Well, that's easy to say now, but in time I might choose that that's what I love and that's what I choose to do, keep up those couple hours a day. which is a fun choice.
You're getting more and more reward from what you're doing. As you grow and impact people, you're getting more and more of that. So when the time comes, whenever it is, that 2 hours might be valuable, but might not be. It's a good position to be in.
Yeah, then I can choose. And that's why I'm going to all of this work to create choices like that of good, better, best. And how do I want to spend my time rather than I've got to clock in and out to this job to make X amount of dollars so we keep the house. It's a great place to be.
That's what I tell my wife. It's like, I don't know if I want to do retirement. I might get out of the pharmacy. I mean, I've had it on my mind for basically ever. I might get out of the pharmacy for a week and go stir crazy because I don't have that on my mind. But the point is, I want to get to the point where I can make that choice.
And you're making it from a place of abundance, and it's what you're choosing rather than, well, I want to do this, but I should do that, and I have to do this, and all that.
Good stuff. Well, Jamie, golly, nice talking to you. Best wishes on things.
Thank you. It's been so great to talk to you and get to know you, Mike. This has been so fun.
It's fun to see real enthusiasm in life online. I like that because a lot of people are just trying to sell something, but I like watching your stuff. It's real enthusiasm and it's fun to see.
Thank you. It's fun to have a venue to share that with the world because that's just me being me. And now it's fun to have so many more connections and friends all across the country that I never would have had without resources of today. So
it's a nice balance how you can do it to have all that, and I can do it just to be a grumpy old guy.
We can both have it all.
We're a nice balance, Jamie.
Yes.
All right, Jamie, keep up the good work. It'll be fun watching you, and best wishes on things.
Thank you, Mike.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Business of Pharmacy podcast with me, your host, Mike Kelzer. Please subscribe for all future episodes.